Hurrying down the hall, the three demon chiefs went forward to take a careful look at the pan. Indeed, they discovered that the layers of the steamer were strewn on the ground, while both water and pan had turned cold because the fire was about to die out. Those tending the fire, however, were still snoring away. So astonished were the various fiends that they all shouted, "Seize the Tang monk quickly! Seize the Tang monk quickly!" All that hubbub immediately aroused the rest of the monster spirits, old and young. Clutching cutlasses and lances, they swarmed from front and back up to the central gate of the sun, where they found that neither lock nor seal had been touched, and heard the continuous rattle of the sentinel bells. They asked those on night patrol outside the door, "Where did the Tang monk escape?" The reply was that no one had come through the door. When they then rushed to the rear gate of the servants, again they found that the seal, the lock, and the sentinel bells were like those out in front. The entire throng then spread out with torches and lanterns, lighting up the whole place until it was bright as day, and then they caught clear sight of the four pilgrims attempting to scale the wall. "Where are you running?" roared the old demon as he dashed up to them. His legs weakened and his tendons numbed by fear, the elder fell down at once from the wall and was caught by the old demon. While the second demon seized Sha Monk and the third demon pinned down 8 rules, the rest of the fiends took the luggage and the white horse. Only Pilgrim managed to escape. "Damn him! Damn him!" muttered 8 rules as he was caught. "I told him to do a thorough job of rescuing us. Now it's back to the steamer for us." The various demons took the pilgrims back to the main hall, but they did not want to steam them anymore. Instead, 8 rules was tied to a pillar in front of the hall, and Sha Monk was taken to be bound to a pillar at the rear of the hall. The old demon, however, held on to the Tang monk and refused to let go. "Big brother," said the third fiend, "why are you holding him like that? Are you going to swallow him alive? But that'll take all the pleasure out of eating, for this creature can't be compared with those foolish, common mortals that you can devour as a meal. He's a rare creature from a superior state. You must take time, when you have the leisure, to prepare him like a gourmet dish. And you eat him to the accompaniment of good game, fine wines, and soft music. What you say is quite right, of course, worthy brother," said the old demon, smiling. "But in the meantime, Pilgrim Sun will sneak back in here to steal him. In this palace of mine," said the third demon. "There is a pavilion of brocade fragrance, inside which there is also an iron chest. Listen to me, hide the Tang monk in the chest and close up the pavilion. Spread the rumor so that the little fiends all over our city will be talking about it, that the Tang monk has been devoured alive by us. Undoubtedly that pilgrim will come back to snoop around. When he hears the news, he will lose all hope and leave. After 4 or 5 days, when he stopped coming back to harass us, we can then take out the Tang monk and enjoy him at our leisure. How about that?" Highly pleased, both the old and second fiends said, "Yes. Yes. Yes. What our brother said makes perfect sense." And so they put the poor Tang monk that very night into the iron chest, after which the pavilion was closed. The rumor that he had been eaten alive soon spread through the entire city, and we shall leave that for the moment. We tell you instead about Pilgrim, who had to abandon the Tang monk in the middle of the night and mount the clouds to escape. He went straight to the Lion Camel Cave instead, attacked persistently with his rod, and succeeded in killing all 10,000 plus of those little fiends. Then he hurried back. When he reached the edge of the city, the sun was just rising in the east. He dared not, however, provoke battle. For one silk fiber is no thread. A single hand cannot clap. As he descended from the clouds, he shook his body once and changed into a little fiend to steal into the city. Through large boulevards and small alleys he tried to learn what was happening, and all he heard was, "The Tang monk has been devoured live by the great kings during the night." Wherever he went in the city, that was the news he was told. Becoming more anxious, Pilgrim strode to the Hall of Golden Chimes to look around, and he saw many spirits in front of the hall, all wearing leather caps dusted with gold, and yellow cloth jackets. With red lacquered wooden staffs in their hands and ivory plaques dangling from their waists, they were marching back and forth. Pilgrim thought to himself, "These must be monster spirits authorized to work in the palace. I'll change into one of them to snoop around inside." Dear great sage. He really did change into an exact version of one of those fiends and sneaked inside. As he walked about, he caught sight of 8 rules tied to one of the pillars in front of the hall and moaning. Pilgrim drew near and whispered, "Wunem." Recognizing his voice, our idiot said, "Elder brother, are you here? Please rescue me." "I will," replied Pilgrim. "But do you know where Master is?" "Master's gone," said 8 rules. "Last night he was eaten alive by those monster spirits." When he heard these words, Pilgrim let out a sob, and tears poured from his eyes. "Elder brother, don't cry," said 8 rules. "I only heard the wild talk of the little fiends, but I didn't see it with my own eyes. Don't let yourself be fooled. You should do some more investigating." Only then did Pilgrim stop weeping and walk further inside to investigate. There he saw Sha Monk tied to one of the pillars in the rear of the hall. He approached him at once, rubbed Sha Monk's chest with his hand, and said, "Wu Jing." Sha Monk, too, recognized his voice and said, "Elder brother, did you come in through transformation? Please save me. Save me." "Saving you is easy," replied Pilgrim. "But do you know where Master is?" As tears dripped from his eyes, Sha Monk said, "Oh, elder brother. The monster spirits couldn't wait to steam Master. He was eaten alive." When the great sage heard that the words of both his brothers were the same, he felt as if a knife had run through his heart. Not even bothering to rescue 8 rules and Sha Monk, he leapt at once into the air and went back to the mountain east of the city. As he dropped down from the clouds, he broke into loud wailing, crying, "Oh Master! When, mocking heaven, I landed in the snare. You came to free me from my great despair. To seek the Buddha we set our heart and mind. Ourselves we trained and demons we refined. I did not know this day you'd meet with harm. Now I can't take you to the wondrous palm. It's not your lot to reach the blessed West. What can I do when spirit leaves your chest?" As Pilgrim was grieving in this manner, he thought to himself, questioning mind with mind, "This has to be all the fault of our Buddha Tathagata." Sitting idly in that region of ultimate bliss, he had nothing better to do than to dream up those 3 baskets of scriptures. If he truly cared about the proclamation of virtue, he should have sent the scriptures to the land of the East. Wouldn't his name then be an everlasting glory? But he wouldn't part with them so readily, and all he knew was to ask us to go seek them. Who would expect that Master, after the painful experience of 1,000 mountains, would lose his life at this miserable place? All right. All right. All right. Let old monkey mount his cloud somersault to visit Tathagata, and tell him about this. If he's willing to let me send the scriptures to the land of the East, it'll still mean the proclamation of the virtuous fruit in the first place, and the fulfillment of our vow in the second. But if he's unwilling, I'll ask him to recite the loose fillet spell to release me from this band. Old monkey will hand it back to him, go back to his own cave, and play king once more. Dear great sage. Leaping up at once, he mounted his cloud somersault to head straight for India. It was hardly an hour before the Spirit Mountain came into view. In a moment he dropped down from the clouds to land on the Vulture Peak, where he was immediately met by the 4 great diamond guardians, crying, "Where are you going?" Bowing to them, Pilgrim said, "I must see Tathagata on some business." "This ape," snapped the diamond guardian ever-abiding, the indestructible Raja of the Golden Beam Summit on Kunlun Mountain, "has a lot of gall. You have yet to thank us for exerting ourselves on your behalf some time ago when we restrained the bull demon. But there's hardly even any show of courtesy when you see us today. If you have some business, we must make the report first, and you may enter only when you're summoned." This isn't the same as the South Heavenly Gate, where you can rush in and out at will. Bah! Aren't you going to step aside?" Now the great sage was already sorely distressed. When he received this affront, he became so incensed that he thundered forth his protests, which soon reached the ears of Tathagata. Our Buddhist patriarch was sitting solemnly on the lotus throne of 9 grades, and discussing the sutras with the arhats of 18 heavens. He said to them, "Sun Wukong has arrived. All of you go out and usher him in here." Obeying this decree of Buddha, the arhats with 2 rows of sacred banners and treasure canopies went outside and intoned, "Great sage Sun, our Tathagata has issued a summons for you." Only then did those 4 great diamond guardians step aside to allow Pilgrim to enter the monastery. After being led by the arhats up to the treasure lotus platform, he prostrated himself before Tathagata as 2 streams of tears coursed down his cheeks. "Wukong," said Tathagata, "why are you weeping so sadly?" "By the grace of your teachings vouchsafed repeatedly to him," replied Pilgrim. "This disciple has entered the gate of Holy Father Buddha.